Hey, glad you found your way back. It's late, the world's quieted down, and we're heading somewhere most people have completely wrong in their heads. The creak of wagon wheels on hard-packed earth, smell of wood smoke mixing with something else, manure, dust, leather that's been sweated through too many times. Somewhere out there in the dark, 1,000 longhorns settling down for the night. They're breathing a low rumble you feel more than hear. Just a heads up, in this version of the West, you're basically broke, saddle sore, and eating beans. Again. Before you drift too far, if this is working for you, go ahead and like the video. Subscribe if you want more of these. Otherwise, just settle in and enjoy. Drop your sleep station in the comments, wherever you are right now, whatever ungodly hour it is where you're listening. Always curious where these late-night history trips end up. Now, get the room dark, get that fan spinning for a soft background hum, and let's find our way back through time together.
Now. We should move.
Cold air on your face. That's what wakes you. That and someone kicking the sole of your boot. Still dark. Always dark when the day starts. Your back's already complaining before you've even sat up. And you've been asleep maybe 4 hours if you're lucky. Coffee's on. You can smell it from your bedroll. That bitter, burnt smell that means the cook's been up even longer than you have. Your blanket's damp with dew, and when you roll it up, your fingers are stiff. April in Texas, and the mornings still bite. The fire's just coals and a few flames. 6 or 7 shapes moving around it, not talking much. Everyone's pulling on boots, checking cinches, drinking coffee from tin cups that burn your hands and your tongue at the same time. Tastes like creek water and charcoal. You drink it anyway. Beans from last night, cold and congealed in the pan. You eat them with your fingers because nobody's washed the spoons yet. Someone makes a joke about the cook's mother. The cook tells him where to put it. Same conversation as yesterday, as the day before that. Your horse is where you left him, hobbled 20 yards from camp. He's not happy to see you. Horses are never happy to see you at 4 in the morning. The saddle's cold and stiff, and when you heave it onto his back, he shifts just enough to make it difficult. Your back twitches. Pulled something 2 days ago, and it hasn't forgiven you. $30 a month. That's what you're making. The trail boss promised 40, but then adjusted for expenses, meaning the beans you're eating and the sorry excuse for coffee you're drinking. $30 for 3 months of this, assuming you make it to Kansas without getting trampled, drowned, or left behind with a broken leg. The herd's already stirring. You can hear them out past the firelight, a low, restless sound like distant thunder that never quite arrives. 2,000 longhorns, give or take. You stopped counting after the first week, when you realized it doesn't matter. However many there are, it's too many. Your job's simple. Keep them moving north. 12 miles a day, every day, for 90 days. Don't lose any. Don't let them stampede. Don't fall off your horse and crack your skull open. The trail boss has explained this twice. Everyone nodded. Nobody asked questions because there aren't any questions to ask. The sun's not up yet when you ride out to the herd. Just that pale grey light that makes everything look washed out and unreal. Your breath fogs. The cattle's breath fogs. Everything smells like wet cowhide and grass, and that particular funk that comes from 2,000 animals bedded down in one place. You're riding drag today. That's the back of the herd, where the dust is worst and the slowest cattle bunch up and try to turn around. It's the job nobody wants, which means it's the job you get because you're new and the other hands have seniority. Martinez has been doing this for 6 years. You've been doing it for 3 weeks. The herd starts moving slow, reluctant. A few at the front, then the rest following, because cattle are herd animals, and they'd rather be miserable together than alone. You nudge your horse forward. His name's something you can't remember. You didn't name him. He came with the job. And honestly, you're not attached enough to bother. Dust starts rising before you've gone half a mile. Gets in your eyes, your nose, your mouth. You've got a bandana tied over your face, but it doesn't help much. Just makes you breathe through cloth that tastes like yesterday's dust and yesterday's sweat. Your eyes water. You squint. This is what the next 12 hours look like. The sun comes up mean and red. No clouds. That means it'll be hot by noon, and you'll be wishing for rain. And then when it rains tomorrow, you'll be wishing for sun again. There's no winning. There's just the next thing and the thing after that. A steer tries to break off to the left. You turn your horse, push it back. The steer looks at you with those blank, dark eyes, like it's wondering why you're doing this. You're wondering the same thing. $30 a month. That's why. Breakfast is already a memory. Lunch will be hardtack and jerky if you're lucky. Nothing if you're not. Dinner's 12 hours away, and it'll be beans again. The cook has a limited repertoire. Beans and bacon if there's bacon, beans and biscuits if there's flour, beans and regret if there's neither. Your tailbone's already sore. The saddle's Mexican, double-rigged, high-cantle, built for roping, not comfort. It cost $45, which is more than a month's pay, and you're still paying it off. The previous owner sold it to you because he'd broken his arm in 3 places and decided cowboying wasn't for him anymore. Smart man. The cattle walk. You ride behind them. The dust rises, the sun climbs. This is the job. This is the whole job. Moving meat from Texas to Kansas at 12 miles a day. Breathing dust and eating beans and trying not to think about how your back's going to feel tonight. Martinez rides past, heading up to the front. He doesn't say anything, just nods. You nod back. Historians argue about whether cowboys were talkative or quiet, whether the trail drives were full of singing and stories, or mostly silence. From where you're sitting, standing, swaying, trying not to fall asleep in the saddle, it's mostly quiet. Too tired to talk. Too dusty to want to open your mouth anyway. A calf's limping. You watch it for a while, trying to decide if it's bad enough to tell someone. Probably born late. Probably won't make it to Kansas. Nobody's going to stop the herd for one calf. You make a note anyway. The trail boss likes to know these things, even if there's nothing to be done about them. Your horse stumbles, your stomach drops. If he breaks a leg out here, you're walking. If you're walking, you're fired. If you're fired, you're broke and stranded in the middle of nowhere with no horse and no prospects. You're more worried about your horse than yourself, and not for sentimental reasons. He catches himself, keeps walking. Your stomach settles. The sun's higher now, and it's getting hot. You can feel it through your hat, through your shirt. Your canteen's half empty, and you're trying not to think about it. This is day 23. You've got 67 more to go. The cattle keep walking. You keep riding. The dust keeps rising. Somewhere up ahead, the point riders are probably having an easier time of it. Somewhere behind you, the cook's wagon is creaking along with tonight's beans. And you're here, in the middle, doing exactly what you'll be doing tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that, until either you reach Kansas or something breaks. $30 a month. You've made better decisions. The herd's strung out across half a mile of prairie. Long line of brown backs and white horns, moving like a sluggish river through grass that's already been grazed down to nothing by herds that came before you. You're riding swing now, middle of the line, keeping the stragglers from wandering off to investigate every interesting smell or shadow. It's been 4 hours since breakfast. Feels like 4 days. Your horse has a rhythm. Walk, stumble, walk, stumble. That's hypnotic in the worst way. You've caught yourself nodding off twice already. Fell asleep in the saddle once last week and nearly pitched face first into a cactus. The other hands thought it was hilarious. You didn't. The landscape doesn't change. Just grass and more grass, some low scrub, the occasional tree that's not big enough to provide shade. Sky's so big out here it feels like it's pressing down on you. No towns, no buildings, no fences yet. Those come later, and when they do, the whole trail driving business ends. But that's 20 years from now, and you're not thinking that far ahead. You're thinking about the steer that keeps trying to drift east. Big grey one with a crooked horn. He's decided he doesn't like Kansas, wants to head back to Texas. You've corrected him 6 times this morning. He's persistent. You're more persistent. Barely. Circle the strays, push them back, repeat. The lead hands up front have it easier. They just follow the trail boss and keep the front of the herd pointed north. You're back here doing geometry, calculating angles, trying to keep 1,500 pounds of stubborn animal from wandering into the next county. Water break at mid-morning. The herd bunches up near a creek that's barely a trickle. Cattle pushing and shoving, the ones in back trying to get to the front. Everything churning into muddy chaos. You sit your horse at the edge, making sure none of them decide to just keep walking east into Oklahoma. Your canteen's empty. You refill it downstream from the cattle, which means you're drinking water that's been through several hundred hooves first. Tastes like mud and minerals. You drink it anyway. Heat's building. Gonna be a scorcher. No clouds, no shade. Just sun and grass and cattle and that endless white sky. The cook's set up for a quick meal, more like a snack. Biscuits, leftover bacon if you're fast enough to grab some. You get 1 biscuit, the bacon's gone. You eat while standing, while watching the herd, while your horse drinks his fill and eyes you with what looks like resentment. Stream's low, Martinez says. He's standing next to you, also eating, also watching. You nod. Gonna be lower in Kansas. You nod again. Conversation on the trail is economical. Why waste words when a nod does the same work? The trail boss is shouting something up front. Can't hear what. Doesn't matter. When he's ready to move, you'll know because the cattle will start moving and you'll either keep up or get left behind. Your back's cramping. The spot where you pulled something 2 days ago has graduated from dull ache to sharp complaint. You'd stretch, but there's no time and no point. Gonna hurt anyway. The herd starts moving. There's your signal. Back in the saddle. Back to the dust. The grey steer with the crooked horn is already eyeing the eastern horizon. You cut him off before he gets ideas. Afternoon stretches. The sun's directly overhead now, then slowly sliding west. The temperature peaks somewhere around 1 or 2. Hard to tell when you don't have a watch and wouldn't check it if you did. Your lips are cracked. Forgot to wet the bandana this morning, and now your face feels like dried leather. A rattlesnake buzzes somewhere to your left. Your horse shies. You stay on, barely. The snake's already gone by the time you look. Cattle didn't even notice. They're used to snakes. Everything out here is used to snakes, except you. The grey steer makes another break for it. You're starting to take it personally. Time moves different out here, fast and slow at once. The hours drag, but when you look back, you can't remember specific moments. Just the sameness of it. Grass and cattle and dust and heat. Your mind wanders. You think about the girl in San Antonio who said she'd wait. Probably isn't waiting. Can't blame her. What's she waiting for? A dusty, broke cowhand who smells like cattle and hasn't had a bath in 3 weeks. You think about the farm you grew up on. Didn't want to be a farmer, thought cowboying sounded adventurous. Turns out farming and cowboying are basically the same thing. Hard, boring work that wears you down and pays nothing. Except at least on a farm you sleep in a bed and eat vegetables sometimes. The cattle are spreading out. You tighten a line, push them back together. It's like herding, well, cattle, because that's exactly what it is. Martinez rides past again, heading to the back. You've switched positions. Now you're mid-swing, he's taking drag for a while. Unspoken rotation. Everyone takes their turn eating dust. Still moving, he says. Yep. That's the whole conversation. The sun's lower now, finally. Still hot, but the worst is over. Another few hours and you'll make camp. More beans, more bad coffee. 4 hours of sleep if you're lucky. Less if it's your turn for night watch. The trail boss is looking for a camping spot. You can tell because he's riding ahead, scanning the horizon, looking for flat ground near water. Good luck with that. Most of the good spots are taken by other herds, or too muddy, or too rocky, or too something. A cow stumbles. You watch her get up, check for injuries. She's fine. They stumble all the time. Walk 12 miles a day for 3 months and see how graceful you are. Your stomach's making noises. Empty. Gonna stay that way for another couple hours. You've lost weight since San Antonio. Everyone loses weight on the trail. Hard to keep weight on when you're burning it off faster than you can eat beans. The grey steer's given up his escape attempts. Finally. Small victories. The herd's slowing. That's the signal. Camp's being made. You can see the chuck wagon up ahead. Stop near a pathetic excuse for a creek. Home for the night. Your horse knows the routine. He's already heading toward the makeshift rope corral before you even turn him. Smart animal. Smarter than you, probably. You dismount and everything hurts. Your legs, your back, your tailbone. Places you didn't know you had. The ground feels wrong after 12 hours in the saddle. Too stable, too unmoving. Unsaddle. Hobble the horse. Check his hooves, his legs. He's fine. Better than you. He'll get grain tonight if there's any left. You'll get beans. The cook's already got something going. Smells like beans. Shocking. You find a spot near the fire. Sit down. Don't plan to stand up again unless absolutely necessary. Martinez sits down next to you. Doesn't say anything. Just sits, staring at the fire. Probably thinking about the exact same things you're thinking. How many days left? Whether your pay will actually materialize. Whether this is really better than farming. Another day, he finally says. Yep. 66 more to go. The trail boss is standing by the chuck wagon, doing mathematics that doesn't work out in your favor. He's got a little leather notebook, the kind that costs $2 in town, and he's making marks with a pencil stub. You're waiting for pay. It's been a month. $30, he says, not looking up. -8 for provisions. -3 for that shirt you took from the supply. -2 for the horseshoe we had to replace on your mount. You didn't take a shirt. Your horse didn't need a shoeing. You open your mouth to say this. $17, he says, snapping the book shut. You want it now or wait till Abilene? You want it now. $17 is $17, even if the math is creative. But if you take it now, you'll spend it. And if you spend it, you'll have nothing when you reach Kansas, except the same broken gear you started with. Abilene, you say. He nods, writes something in the book. That's it. Transaction complete. You just got cheated out of $13, and the closest thing to recourse you have is quitting, which means walking back to Texas with nothing. Martinez got 15. Said so last night. Trail boss claimed he owed for a saddle repair that Martinez swears never happened. Martinez didn't argue either. Nobody argues. What's the point? The math works like this. $40 a month sounds good when you're in San Antonio and broke. Sounds like enough to save. Maybe buy your own horse. Maybe start thinking about that little place near Austin. But $40 becomes $35 after administrative fees, becomes $30 after provisions, becomes $25 after equipment maintenance, becomes less after the trail boss finds other creative deductions. And that's assuming he pays at all. There are outfits that reach Kansas, sell the herd, and the trail boss vanishes with the money, leaves the crew stranded 1,000 miles from home with nothing but what they're wearing. It happens. Not often enough to stop people from signing on, but often enough that everyone knows someone who got stiffed. You've heard stories about the big outfits that pay fair, King Ranch, XIT, the operations that treat their men right. But you're not working for them. You're working for a man who bought 2,000 head on credit and is hoping to make enough in Kansas to pay his debts and then some. Maybe he will. Maybe he'll make a killing and everyone gets their full 40. Maybe. You're not betting on maybe. The gear situation isn't helping. Your saddle's developing a crack along the tree. Not bad yet, but getting worse. A replacement costs $45 to $50, more than a month's theoretical pay, way more than your actual pay. You're nursing it along with leather strips and hope. Your boots are losing their soles. Not falling off yet, but close. New boots run $8 to $12 depending on quality. You're looking at the cheap ones, and even those are out of reach right now. The bandana around your neck cost 50 cents. Your hat cost $3, and it's got a hole in the brim from where a low branch caught it last week. Your spurs, the only thing that's holding up, cost $3, and you bought them used. Add it up. You're wearing maybe $20 worth of gear, and most of it's falling apart, and you're making $17 a month after creative accounting. Meanwhile, your horse, who isn't even yours, needs grain, needs shoes, needs tack. The outfit provides these things, theoretically, and then deducts them from your pay. You're paying to work. That's the reality nobody mentions in San Antonio when they're recruiting. There's a kid on this drive, can't be more than 16, first time out. He signed on with nothing, no bedroll, no gun, no decent boots. Trail boss provided everything, and the kid's now in debt to the outfit for more than he'll make the whole drive. He'll reach Kansas owing money to the man who employs him. Historians still argue whether this counts as indentured servitude, but from where you're standing it walks like a duck. Martinez has been doing this 6 years. 6 years, and he still doesn't own his own horse, still sleeping on a bedroll he bought in year 2, still wearing the same dented spurs. 6 years and he's got nothing to show for it except the knowledge of how to move cattle and where that gets you. Why keep doing it? You asked him once. He shrugged. What else? That's the question, isn't it? What else? You're not educated, can't read much beyond your own name. No trade skills, no money to start a business. Can't go back to farming, sold your part of the family land to your brother for $20 and a handshake. This is it. This is the option. The cook rings the dinner bell. Beans and biscuits, same as always. You get in line with your tin plate, the one with your initials scratched in the bottom so nobody steals it. Not that anyone would. Plates aren't worth stealing. The beans are watery tonight. The biscuits are hard. You eat anyway. After dinner, the trail boss makes an announcement. We're making good time. Might reach Abilene early. There'll be bonuses if we don't lose any more cattle. Everyone nods. Nobody believes him. The bonuses never materialize. There's always a reason. Market was down, buyer backed out, expenses were higher than expected. You're learning the economics of not being the boss. The boss takes the risk, sure. The boss put up the money, made the deals, organized the drive. But the boss also takes the profit. You take the wage. And the wage is whatever he says it is, minus whatever he says to minus. There's no union, no contract, just a handshake in San Antonio and a promise of $40 a month. Legally binding? Maybe. Enforceable? Not out here in the middle of nowhere with the nearest law 100 miles away. You finish your beans, scrape the plate with a biscuit. The fire's dying down, someone's playing a harmonica badly. Same 3 notes over and over. Nobody tells him to stop. It's something to listen to besides cattle and wind. Your bedroll's damp again, always damp. You spread it near the fire, not too close because embers, not too far because cold. Perfect distance doesn't exist, but you try anyway. $17. 2 months' work, and you've got $17 that you won't see until Kansas. And when you do see it, it'll go to replacing the boots and fixing the saddle and buying whatever else broke along the way. Then you'll sign on for another drive, because what else are you going to do? Martinez is already asleep, snoring. The kid's sitting up, mending a shirt with thread that's too thick and stitches that won't hold. Trying anyway. That's the whole job, really. Trying anyway. You lie down, look up at the stars. They're bright out here, away from any towns. The kind of sky people write poems about. Beautiful, if you're not too tired to notice. You're too tired to notice. $17, 60-some days to go. Your back finds a rock under the bedroll. You shift, find another rock, shift again, close enough. Tomorrow you'll wake up at 3, drink bad coffee, eat cold beans, and ride drag all day for 1/60th of $17. The math doesn't work, hasn't worked, won't work. But what else is there?
The saddle's definitely cracking. You can feel it when you shift weight. That little give that shouldn't be there. Like stepping on ice that's just starting to thaw. Another week, maybe 2, before it goes completely. You've been trying to baby it, keeping your weight centered, avoiding sudden movements, not roping anything if you can help it. Doesn't matter. Saddles aren't meant to last forever, and this one's seen better days. Better years, probably. The previous owner, the one with the broken arm, warned you, said the tree was getting weak, said you should wrap it. You've wrapped it. 3 times now with strips of rawhide that the cook gave you in exchange for your tobacco ration. The rawhide helps, not enough. Cost to replace, $45 minimum, closer to $50 for anything decent. That's 3 months' pay after the trail boss's creative accounting, and you haven't even been paid for month 1 yet. Your boots are worse. The left sole is flapping, not completely off, but close. You've tried gluing it with pine sap and that worked for maybe 3 days. Now you can feel every rock through the gap, and when it rains, which it did yesterday, water fills your boot within about 30 seconds of stepping down. Standing in the stirrups helps, keeping weight off your feet. But you can't stand all day, and when you sit, the stirrup leather rubs the sole loose a little more each hour. New boots, $8 to $12. The cheap ones fall apart in a month. The good ones last a season, maybe. You need the good ones. Can't afford the good ones. Gonna end up with the cheap ones and be in the same situation by July. Your hat's got a hole. Your bandana's got 3. The shirt you're wearing has been mended so many times it's more thread than fabric. The spare shirt you brought is the one the trail boss claims you took from supplies. It's still in your saddlebag. Still the same shirt you packed in San Antonio, but arguing costs more than it's worth. Pants are holding up. Barely. There's a rip in the inseam that's getting wider, and you've got nothing to mend it with. The kid offered to sew it last night, but his stitching's so bad it'd probably make it worse. Your gun's fine. You don't use it much anyway. Carried it the first week, then realized it's just extra weight. The trail boss has a rifle, the cook has a shotgun, and between them they handle any actual shooting that needs doing, which is mostly snakes and the occasional lame cow. Your revolver stays in your bedroll, probably rusting. The spurs are good, only thing that is. $3 investment that's paying off. Rowels still spin, shanks aren't bent. You take care of them because they're the only piece of gear you've got that isn't actively falling apart. Martinez has a saddle that's older than you are. Says he bought it in '67, used. Been repaired so many times, the original leather's mostly gone, replaced piece by piece. Like a philosophy question, if you replace every part, is it still the same saddle? Martinez doesn't care about philosophy. It holds him on a horse. That's enough. The cook's got a theory about gear. Says the outfit should provide everything, charge nothing. Says the current system's designed to keep you broke so you can't quit. You'll always owe more than you make. Always need next month's pay to cover this month's expenses. The trail boss has a different theory. Says if men don't provide their own gear, they don't take care of it. Says ownership creates responsibility. The trail boss owns a ranch in Texas. The cook owns a wagon and some pans. You own a cracked saddle and flapping boots. Responsibility looks different depending on where you're standing. There's an outfit out of Kansas, heard about them in San Antonio, that provides everything. Horses, saddles, bedrolls, food, ammunition. No deductions. Flat rate, $45 a month, paid in cash at the end. Sounds like fantasy. Probably is. Nobody you've met has actually worked for them. Always a friend of a friend who heard about it. Your rope's fraying. Haven't needed it much. You're not doing much roping on a trail drive. Mostly just riding. But when you do need it, you'll need it to work. New rope costs $2. Might as well be $20. The horse is fine. He's the outfit's horse. Gets the outfit's grain and the outfit's farrier when his shoes wear down. Funny how that works. The animal gets better care than you do because he's company property and you're just labor. Sometimes you think about just walking off. Leaving the saddle, leaving the job, heading east or west, or anywhere that isn't north with 2,000 cattle. But then what? You're 300 miles from the nearest town of any size. No horse, no money, no prospects. Walking off is suicide with extra steps, so you stay. And you nurse the cracked saddle and the flapping boot and the ripped pants. And you hope you make it to Kansas before something critical breaks. The kid's boots are worse than yours. He's stuffed them with newspaper. Where he got newspaper out here, nobody knows. And tied them together with twine. He walks funny now, kind of shuffling to keep the soles from falling off completely. Trail boss hasn't offered him new boots. Trail boss hasn't offered him anything. Kid's learning the same lesson you learned. You take care of yourself, or you don't get taken care of. Night watch tonight, your turn. 4 hours sitting on a horse in the dark, circling the herd, making sure they don't spook. Your saddle's going to complain. Your back's going to complain. Your boots are going to let water in if there's dew, which there will be. But the spurs still work. That's something. Martinez rides up, looks at your boot.
That's bad, he says. Yup. Gonna lose the sole completely. Yup. He reaches into his saddlebag, pulls out a ball of twine, tosses it to you. Wrap it tight. Won't fix it, but might hold till Kansas. You nod. He rides off. That's friendship on the trail. A ball of twine and no speeches. You wrap the boot, wind the twine around the sole, through the old lace holes, around again, pull it tight, tie it off. It looks ridiculous. Works better than the pine sap did. The saddle creaks when you mount up. That creak's new. Yesterday it just gave a little. Today it creaks. Tomorrow it'll probably crack through, and you'll hit the ground, and the horse will keep walking, and you'll be sitting in Texas dirt with a broken saddle and no options. But that's tomorrow. Tonight you've got a boot held together with twine and a saddle held together with hope. Close enough. Rain starts just before dawn. Not the gentle kind, the sideways kind, driven by wind that cuts through wool like it's tissue paper. You're already soaked before you're fully awake. Your bedroll's soaked, your clothes are soaked, your hat's soaked, which means water's running off the brim straight down your back. There's no staying dry. The concept of dry doesn't exist anymore. The cattle are restless. They don't like rain any more than you do. 2,000 wet, unhappy animals making that low moaning sound that means they're one loud noise away from bolting. The night watch is trying to keep them calm, riding circuits, singing badly, being a constant presence. It's not working great. Coffee tastes like rainwater, because it is rainwater. Cook couldn't get the fire hot enough to actually boil anything, so you're drinking lukewarm creek water with coffee grounds floating in it. You drink it anyway. Warmth is warmth, even imaginary warmth.
No breakfast. Can't cook in this. The beans are somewhere in the chuck wagon, dry and unreachable. Your stomach makes its opinion known. Your stomach's opinion doesn't matter. The trail boss is shouting something about moving out anyway. Can't hear him over the rain, but you can read the gestures. Get on your horse. Get the cattle moving. Don't stop just because you're wet and cold and miserable. Your horse is wet and cold and miserable too. He gives you a look that says he's reconsidering this whole domestication arrangement. You sympathize. The saddle's soaked. Wet leather on wet pants on wet horse. Everything's slippery. You mount up careful, very aware that one wrong move puts you in the mud, and if the cattle spook while you're down there, that's it. End of story. They'll find you in pieces scattered across half an acre. The herd starts moving, reluctant, slow. Nobody wants to walk in this. The cattle don't. You don't. The horse doesn't. Doesn't matter what anybody wants. Rain's coming down harder now, can barely see 20 feet ahead. The cattle are just shapes in the grey, moving shadows in a world that's turned liquid. Your bandana's plastered to your face. Doesn't keep anything out, just makes breathing slightly more difficult. Cold setting in. Not the sharp cold of winter, the insidious cold of being wet. Water soaking through clothes, pulling heat out of your body bit by bit. Your fingers are stiff on the reins. Your toes went numb an hour ago. The trails turn to soup, mud up to the horse's fetlocks, sucking at his hooves with every step. He's struggling. The cattle are struggling. Everything's moving half speed through what used to be solid ground. A steer goes down, just slips in the mud and doesn't get back up. Not injured, just tired. Too tired to fight the mud. Martinez rides over, gets a rope on it, drags it upright. The steer stands there looking confused and defeated, knows exactly how it feels. The wind shifts. Now the rain's coming from a different angle, still soaking you, just from the left now instead of the right. Variety. Your shirt's stuck to your skin, your pants are stuck to the saddle. The wool's turned heavy, pulling you down. Everything weighs twice what it did this morning, including you. The crack in your saddle is probably worse now. Wet leather, stressed leather. You can feel it flexing weird when the horse moves, trying not to think about it. Got about 60 miles left to Kansas. Just need it to last 60 more miles. Through rain, through mud, through whatever else the weather decides to throw. No lunch. Can't stop. Can't make fire. The hardtack in your saddlebag is soggy. You eat it anyway. Tastes like wet cardboard. Technically, it's always tasted like wet cardboard, but usually it's dry wet cardboard. Afternoon, and the rain hasn't let up. If anything, it's worse. Thunder rolling in the distance. The cattle hear it. So do you. Thunder means lightning, and lightning means stampede, and stampede means you could be dead in about 90 seconds if things go wrong. The trail boss is riding up and down the line, checking positions, making sure everyone's ready. Ready for what? Ready to chase 2,000 panicked longhorns through a thunderstorm in the dark. Nobody's ready for that. You get ready anyway. Lightning cracks. Close. Too close. The whole sky lights up white, and for a second you can see everything. The herd, the other riders, the endless mud stretching in every direction. Then darkness again, darker than before. The cattle shift. Nervous energy rippling through the herd like a wave. They're bunching up, pressing together, looking for safety in numbers. Your horse tenses. He knows what's coming. Another lightning strike. Closer. And they run. Not all of them at once. A few at first, then more. Then everyone's running, because running is what you do when your neighbors are running. 2,000 cattle, 0 brains among them, all heading in random directions through a rainstorm. Your horse is already moving. Doesn't wait for you to decide, just goes, chasing the nearest group of cattle, trying to get ahead of them, trying to turn them. You're just along for the ride at this point, holding on, keeping low, hoping. Can't see. Rain and darkness and shapes moving fast. Your horse knows the job better than you do. Trust him. No choice but to trust him. Something big passes close on your left. Could be cattle, could be another rider, could be a tree. You're not stopping to find out. The ground's a disaster. Mud and rocks and probably holes hidden under the water. One wrong step and you're both down. The horse is picking his way at a full gallop somehow. Magic or luck or pure survival instinct. You can hear the cattle ahead, breathing hard, hooves pounding. That strange creaking sound their horns make when they run. Getting closer, your horse is gaining. Martinez appears out of the rain to your right. Doesn't say anything, just rides parallel. 2 is better than 1. Maybe you can turn them together. The cattle are slowing, maybe tired. Maybe the fear's wearing off. Maybe they've just run out of places to go. You and Martinez push from behind, steering them in a wide arc. Slowly, so slowly, they start to turn. 3 other riders appear, then 2 more. Everyone converging on the same group, working together without discussion. This part doesn't need words. The cattle are turning, circling back. Confused now instead of panicked. That's better. Confused you can work with. It takes an hour to get them settled. Another hour to find the rest of the herd. 2 groups went different directions. One group is just gone, scattered into the rain, probably miles away by now. That's tomorrow's problem. The rain's still falling, you're still soaked, but the cattle are calm again, more or less. Nobody's dead. That's a win. Back at what passes for camp, just a spot where the chuck wagon stopped. The cook's trying to make coffee. Still can't get a real fire going. You get more of the lukewarm creek water with grounds in it. Your hands are shaking, adrenaline wearing off. Cold setting in, worse than before. You need to eat something hot. There's nothing hot. You need to change into dry clothes. There are no dry clothes. Martinez is wringing out his bandana. Water pours out. He ties it back around his neck, still soaking wet. What else are you going to do? The kid's missing. You count heads. Everyone else is here. The kid's not. Trail boss sends 2 riders back to look. They return an hour later. Found him. He's fine. His horse threw him in the stampede, and he's been sitting in the mud, waiting. Walked back to camp himself. Looks like a drowned rat. Looks exactly how you feel. No dinner, no fire, no shelter. Just rain and mud and wet clothes and 60 miles still to go. The trail boss announces we're camping here until morning, until the rain stops. Could be 1 hour, could be 2 days. Nobody knows. Nobody cares anymore. You're beyond caring. You try to sleep. Can't. Too wet. Too cold. The bedroll's useless. You end up sitting against a wagon wheel, knees pulled up, hat pulled down, just waiting for morning. The rain keeps falling. This is the job. This is the whole job sometimes. Just enduring. Just being tough enough to sit in the rain and not quit. You're not sure you're that tough. You're still here though. That'll have to be enough. 3 days to round up the strays. 3 days of riding in circles, checking every gully and creek bed and stand of scrub, finding cattle 1 or 2 at a time. The herd that ran during the stampede scattered across 10 square miles of Texas prairie. You've covered maybe half of that. Found 6 yesterday, 4 the day before. Still missing 32 by the trail boss's count. 32 head at maybe $20 each in Kansas is $640. That's coming out of someone's profit margin, and you can bet it won't be the trail boss's. Your horse is tired. 3 days of extra work on top of the regular work. He's moving slower, head hanging lower. Can't blame him. You'd quit if you could. Martinez found 8 in a ravine, just standing there, looking confused, wondering where everyone went. Led them back to the main herd without issue. Easy recovery. Most aren't that easy. The kid's been relegated to camp duty. No horse, still spooked from getting thrown. The trail boss gave him cook's assistant duty, which means washing pans and hauling water and learning how to make biscuits that don't break teeth. He's terrible at all three. You're checking a line of cottonwoods near a dry creek. Cattle like shade. Sometimes they'll hole up in tree cover and just wait. Found 3 that way this morning. There, movement. 2 steers, half hidden in the branches. You approach slow. Don't want to spook them into running again. Your rope's ready, but you're hoping you won't need it. They see you. Don't run. Too tired maybe, or just resigned. Animals get that way sometimes. Stop fighting, accept what's coming. You know the feeling. You edge your horse closer. The steers watch. Calculate their odds. Decide running's not worth it. They follow when you turn back toward the main herd. Minor miracle. You'll take it. Back at camp, the trail boss is doing math again, calculating losses.
How many cattle? How much money? How far behind schedule? The longer this takes, the more it costs. Every day stopped is a day not moving toward Kansas, not moving toward payday. Found 2, you tell him. He marks it in his book. Doesn't say thanks, just marks it. Still missing 30. Probably lost them for good. Could be 50 miles away by now, picked up by another drive, or just wandering on their own. Texas is big enough to lose cattle forever. There's a debate about whether to keep looking. The trail boss wants every head he can get. Some of the hands say, cut your losses, move on. Martinez stays quiet. You stay quiet. Not your decision, and nobody asked. Trail boss decides, 1 more day. If we haven't found them by tomorrow night, we move on without them. Fine by you, you're ready to move. This standing still is worse than moving somehow. At least when you're moving north, you're making progress, getting closer to Kansas and payday. Sitting here looking for lost cattle is just time passing with nothing to show for it. The rain stopped at least. 2 days ago, like it never happened. Ground's still soft but drying. Your clothes are dry, your bedroll's dry, small mercies. Your boots are still held together with Martinez's twine. The saddle's still cracked but holding. You've got maybe 3 weeks left if you're lucky. Found 4 more cattle before sunset, led them back. Trail boss marks them. You eat beans, same beans as always. They've never tasted better because they don't taste good, but at least they're hot and the coffee's actually been boiled this time. The kids' biscuits are improving, still hard enough to use as ammunition, but edible. He's learning. Give him a year and he might make a decent cook. Give him a year and he'll probably quit and find something less miserable to do with his life. Martinez is mending tack by the fire. Says his bridle's coming apart. Everything's always coming apart. You maintain, you repair, you make do. That's the whole system. Night watch again. Your turn in the rotation. 4 hours of riding slow circles in the dark. The cattle are calm tonight. Tired from being scattered, maybe. Or they've learned their lesson about running. Cattle don't learn lessons, but it's nice to imagine. The stars are out. Clear sky for the first time in days. You can see the constellations, the ones you know anyway. The Big Dipper, that's about it. Someone told you once there's a North Star, you can navigate by it. You've never figured out which one it is. Doesn't matter. You're following the trail boss, not the stars. A coyote yips somewhere out in the dark. The cattle stir. Don't panic. Just acknowledge the sound and settle back down. Your horse's ears swivel, tracking the sound, deciding it's not a threat. Good instincts. 3 hours left on watch, then sleep, then up at dawn to look for the last 30 cattle you'll probably never find. Then finally, maybe, moving north again. The grey steer, the one who kept trying to escape those first weeks, is dead. Found him during the search yesterday. Broken leg, probably from the stampede. Martinez shot him. Quick end. Better than starving or getting eaten alive by coyotes. His meat's feeding the crew now. Waste not.
That's the job sometimes. Things break, animals die, you move on. Your saddle creaks. You shift weight carefully. It holds. Tomorrow it'll hold. Day after that, probably. Keep nursing it along. Keep going. The moon's rising. Half moon, maybe a little less. Bright enough to see by. The prairie stretches out silver and black. Beautiful if you're not too tired to notice. You're too tired to notice. 2 hours left. The kid's taking the next watch. He's back on a horse. Different horse. Calmer horse. Learning. Everyone learns or everyone quits. You wonder what happens to the ones who quit. Where do they go? What do they do? Do they look back on these days and regret leaving? Or do they thank God they got out when they did? Probably depends on what they found instead. Martinez appears out of the dark. He's not on watch, just couldn't sleep. Quiet night, he says. Yup. He rides alongside for a while. Doesn't say anything else. Just company. Sometimes that's enough. The cattle breathe. Your horse breathes. The wind moves through the grass. Coyote yips again, farther away this time. 1 hour left. Then sleep. Then another day looking for cattle that are probably long gone. Then north. Finally, if the trail boss keeps his word. Big if. Breakfast is beans. Lunch is nothing. Dinner's going to be beans again, unless something dramatic happens. And nothing dramatic ever happens, except when you don't want it to. The beans taste exactly like they did yesterday. Same pot, probably. Cook makes a big batch, and you eat from it until it's gone, or it goes bad, whichever comes first. These ones haven't gone bad yet. Give them time. Your stomach's used to this diet now. 3 weeks in, and your body's resigned to beans and coffee and the occasional biscuit. Lost weight. Everyone loses weight. You'll gain it back in Kansas if you can afford real food, which you probably can't. The coffee's strong enough to stand a spoon in. That's the cook's philosophy. If it doesn't taste like punishment, it's not done right. You drink it. Wake up a little. Not much, but enough. No bacon this morning. Haven't had bacon in a week. The supply ran out somewhere in Oklahoma, and there's no resupplying until Kansas. Just beans. Beans and memories of bacon. The biscuits are hard. The kid made them. He's getting better, but better is relative. You dip yours in coffee to soften it. Tastes like wet flour and yesterday's bean water. Still an improvement. Martinez is eating with his eyes closed, savoring it, or just too tired to keep them open. Hard to tell. He's been doing this for 6 years. You'd think he'd be used to it. Maybe you never get used to it. Maybe that's the point. The trail boss is eating separate. He's got a plate with eggs on it. Where he got eggs, nobody knows. Probably had them stashed in the chuck wagon for himself. Nobody comments. What would be the point? After breakfast, you're riding point. Front of the herd, setting the pace. It's better than drag, no dust, but it's also boring. Just riding north at 2 miles an hour, checking the horizon for obstacles that never appear. The landscape's the same as yesterday, same as the day before. Grass and sky and the occasional tree. No landmarks, no variety, just north. Your stomach's already rumbling. Beans don't stick with you. Burn through them fast, and you're hungry again by mid-morning. Nothing to eat until tonight. Just ride and ignore it. The cattle are spread out in a long line behind you. You can hear them, but you don't look back. Looking back doesn't change anything. They're either following or they're not. And if they're not, someone else will fix it. The sun's climbing, getting hot. You drink from your canteen. Water's warm and tastes like the leather it's been sitting in. Better than nothing. Barely. Noon and there's no stopping. The herd keeps moving. You keep moving. Your stomach's making serious complaints now. You've got some hardtack in your saddlebag from 3 days ago. Dig it out. Chew it slow. It's like eating leather, but it's something. Martinez rides up beside you. He's got jerky, offers you a piece. You take it. Chew it slower than the hardtack because jerky's worth savouring. Salty and tough and probably older than you are, but it's meat. Last piece, he says. You nod, feel guilty about taking it. Not guilty enough to give it back. He rides off. That's lunch. The afternoon drags. Your horse is bored. You're bored. The cattle are probably bored. Everyone's just walking north because that's what we do. That's all we do. You think about the first time you had a real steak. Back in San Antonio, before you signed on. Spent $2 on it. Stupid money for one meal, but you had money then. Money from selling your share of the farm. Thick cut, cooked over mesquite, with actual salt and pepper. Remember thinking you'd have steaks like that all the time once you made your cowboy fortune. Haven't had a steak since. Probably won't have one in Kansas either. $2 might as well be 200, the way the math's working out. The cook rings the bell early tonight. Beans are ready. You're so hungry you almost run. Maintain dignity. Walk to the chuck wagon like a man, not a starving dog. Same beans. Same pot, definitely. They've been cooking all day, and they've achieved that consistency where you can't tell bean from liquid anymore. Just brown mush. You eat 2 plates. Biscuits tonight. The kid's getting better. These ones only half break your teeth. Progress. Coffee. Always coffee. You're going to be buried with a cup of this stuff in your hand, probably. Died as you lived, drinking terrible coffee and pretending it helps. There's dessert tonight. Actual dessert. The cook's made something with dried apples and flour. Calls it a cobbler. It's more like wet paste with fruit-flavoured lumps, but after 3 weeks of nothing but beans, it tastes like heaven. Everyone gets a small portion. You eat yours slowly. Make it last. Special occasion, the cook says. What's the occasion? Someone asks. You're not dead yet. Fair enough. After dinner, you sit by the fire, full for the first time in days. Not satisfied, beans can't do that, but full. Your stomach stopped complaining. Small victory. The kid's cleaning up, scraping plates, washing pans in water that's more grease than water. He'll learn to heat it eventually. For now, he's just spreading the grease around and calling it clean. Martinez is picking his teeth with a wood splinter. Thoughtful expression. Probably thinking about the same thing you're thinking. How many more days of beans? Answers about 40, give or take. The stars are coming out. Same stars as last night. They'll be the same tomorrow. At least the sky's consistent. Your stomach gurgles. The beans are making their opinion known about being beans. This is normal. Everyone's stomach does this. It's like a chorus after dinner. 10 men, 10 digestive tracts, all complaining in harmony. You'll be hungry again by morning. The beans will burn off overnight, and you'll wake up ready to eat anything, even cold beans, which is what you'll get. But right now, tonight, sitting by the fire with a belly full of beans and a bite of apple cobbler still sweet on your tongue? Could be worse. Been worse. Will be worse again tomorrow. But right now, not bad. Your foot's wedged, can't pull it free. The stirrup's twisted wrong, and your boot's caught, and your horse is dancing sideways, and if he spooks, you're going to be dragged. This is how men die. You're trying not to panic. Panic makes it worse. Your horse can smell fear. That's not just a saying, that's biology. And if he feels you tensing up, he'll tense up, and then you're both in trouble. Easy, you tell him, voice calm, voice lying. He settles, a little, enough for you to work your foot. Twist your ankle, pain shoots up your leg, and the boot slides free. You're out of the stirrup, safe, relatively. Your ankle's already swelling, can feel it, probably sprained, possibly broken. No way to know without a doctor, and there's no doctor for 200 miles. This happened because you were tired. because you've been riding 14 hours and you got sloppy mounting up. Foot didn't find the stirrup clean, you forced it and it twisted. Your fault. Stupid mistake. The kind that gets you killed. Martinez rides over, looks at your ankle. Can you ride? You test it. Weight on the stirrup. Pain, but manageable. Yeah. He nods, rides off. That's the extent of medical care on the trail. Can you work? Yes or no? If yes, you work. If no, you get left behind. The ankle throbs, swelling worse now. Should probably wrap it, should probably elevate it and rest. Should probably do a lot of things you can't do when you're 300 miles from Kansas with 2,000 cattle to move. You ride, favor the other stirrup, try to keep weight off the bad ankle. Doesn't really work. Every step the horse takes sends a jolt through it. By lunch, no lunch, just a water break, you can't feel your toes. Either the swelling's cut off circulation or the pain's overriding everything else. Neither option is good. The kid notices you limping when you dismount. You hurt? Sprained it. Bad? Bad enough.
He doesn't offer help. What help is there? You mount back up. Keep riding. That's the job. Dinner time and the ankles turn colours, purple and yellow, swollen to twice its normal size. Getting your boot off is going to be a problem. Leaving the boot on might be a worse problem. The cook looks at it, whistles low. That's not good. Yeah. Can you ride tomorrow? Have to. He brings you whiskey, not for drinking, well, some for drinking, but mostly for washing the ankle. He cuts away your sock, the skin's tight and hot. He pours whiskey over it. You don't scream, but it's close. Might be broken, he says. Might be. Want me to wrap it? You nod. He wraps it in cloth torn from an old shirt. Tight, not too tight. He's done this before. Everyone's done this before. Stay off it if you can, he says. Can't. You both know you can't. Tomorrow morning you'll be back on your horse, because that's the job, and if you can't do the job, you don't get paid. The whiskey's helping, numbing things. You drink the rest of it. Not much, maybe 2 fingers, but enough to take the edge off. Sleep's difficult. The ankle throbs with your pulse. Every time you shift, it complains. You try to find a position that doesn't hurt. There isn't one. Martinez has the night watch. The kid's asleep. Everyone else is asleep. You're staring at the stars, listening to your ankle announce how stupid you were. Morning comes too early. Always does. Your ankle's worse. Stiff now, in addition to swollen and painful. You can barely put weight on it. But you do. Because what's the alternative? Getting your boot on takes 10 minutes, and most of your vocabulary of curse words. The boot barely fits over the swelling. Once it's on, it's not coming off again until Kansas. Maybe not even then. Might have to cut it off. Coffee helps. Doesn't help the ankle, just helps you face the day with a busted ankle. The beans are cold. You eat them standing up because sitting down and getting back up again is too difficult. The trail boss notices you limping, says nothing. If you can ride, you ride. If you can't, you're a liability. Nobody wants to be a liability. Mounting up is an adventure. You use your good leg, try to keep weight off the bad one. The horse shifts at the wrong moment. You nearly fall. Catch yourself. Pull up into the saddle. Sit there breathing hard. The stirrup's on the bad side. Of course it is. You slip your boot in careful. Pain screams up your leg. You ignore it. Pain's just information. Your ankle's telling you it's damaged. You already knew that. Riding's actually better than walking. The horse does the moving. You just sit there. Still hurts, but less. You can do this. Have to do this. 3 days pass. The ankle doesn't get better, doesn't get worse, just maintains at bad enough to make everything difficult. You adapt. Learn to mount from the right side.
Wrong side technically, but it keeps weight off the bad ankle. Learn to walk with a limp that's efficient instead of painful. Learn to ignore the constant throb. The kid asks if you're okay. You tell him yes. Everyone knows it's a lie. Nobody challenges it. Martinez shares his whiskey one night. Doesn't say it's for the ankle. Doesn't have to. You drink it. Sleep a little better. The cook adjusts his wrapping every few days. The old cloth's filthy. He replaces it with new cloth that's slightly less filthy. Says the swelling's going down. You can't tell. Your boot's cutting into the swollen skin. Going to have a permanent groove there, probably. Add it to the collection of scars and damage that comes with this job. A week after the injury, you can almost walk normal. Still hurts, still swollen, but functional. You'll take functional. The trail boss asks if you need anything. No, sir. He nods. That's it. That's the conversation. You're working. You're functional. Nothing else matters. 2 more weeks to Kansas. Your ankle will last 2 more weeks. Has to. After Kansas, you can rest it. Maybe see a real doctor. Maybe let it heal properly. Or maybe you'll just wrap it again and sign on for another drive. Because the ankle works well enough. And what else are you going to do? Martinez says he broke 3 ribs in '69. Rode for 6 weeks with broken ribs. Says they healed crooked, but they healed. Everyone's got stories. Broken bones, torn muscles, cuts that should have been stitched but weren't. The job breaks you down piece by piece. You either adapt or you quit. You haven't quit yet. Your ankle throbs agreement.
Abilene. Finally. You can smell it before you see it. Wood smoke and horse manure and something cooking that isn't beans. Civilization. Sort of. The herd's bedded down 3 miles outside town. That's standard. Can't drive cattle through the streets. Bad for business, bad for the cattle. You'll hold them here until the buyers come, then drive them to the stockyards. But tonight? Tonight you're free. Trail boss pays out. Cash money. Actual dollars instead of promises. He hands you $43, 3 months' work minus deductions, plus a bonus he actually delivered. You count it twice. It's real. Martinez gets 45. The kid gets 12. He started late, missed the first month. Everyone lines up, gets their pay, makes no comment about the arithmetic that got them there. $43. That's a fortune. That's everything. You're going to spend it all tonight. The town's bigger than you expected. Maybe 24 buildings, half of them saloons. There's a hotel, actual hotel with beds, and a bathhouse and a general store and more saloons. Everything a man needs to go broke in 12 hours. First stop, bathhouse. You smell like 3 months of cattle and sweat and saddle leather. Everyone smells like that. The lady running the bathhouse doesn't even blink. She's seen worse. Hot water. Real hot water in an actual tub. You sink into it, and for the first minute you just sit there, letting the heat work into muscles that haven't been warm in months. Your ankle throbs, but it's a different throb. A healing throb, maybe. They give you soap. Real soap, not the lye chunk the cook carries. You scrub, turn the water brown. They change it. You scrub again. Takes 3 tubs before the water stays clear. New clothes would be smart, practical. Your current shirt's more whole than fabric. But new clothes cost money and you've got other priorities. Second stop, saloon. Not for drinking yet, for food. They've got actual steak. You order one, it costs $2 and you don't care. 3 months of beans have earned you a $2 steak. It arrives, thick cut, grilled with potatoes and bread and butter, real butter. You cut into it and it's pink in the middle, and you eat it so fast you barely taste it. Order another. This one you eat slower, savor it. Remember what real food tastes like. Martinez is at the next table. He's ordered 3 steaks, planning to eat all 3, apparently. You don't judge. After food, the drinking starts.
The saloon's full of cowboys, not just from your outfit, from others that came in this week. Abilene's a terminus. Everyone ends up here eventually. The room's loud with men who haven't talked to anyone but each other for months, all trying to talk at once. Whiskey's cheap. Well, cheaper than it'll be later when you're drunk enough not to care. You buy a bottle. Share it with Martinez and 2 other hands. It's gone in 20 minutes. Buy another. The piano player is terrible. Everyone says so. Nobody stops him. Background music's background music. There are women, saloon girls, working the room. They're friendly, professionally friendly. You know better than to think it means anything. Doesn't stop you from buying them drinks anyway. 3 hours in and you've spent maybe $15. Steak, whiskey, drinks for strangers. You're feeling generous. You're feeling rich. $43 is nothing and everything. Someone suggests poker. Bad idea. You join anyway. The game's in the back room. 5 players, dollar ante. You're not good at poker. You know you're not good. The whiskey insists you're a genius. First hand, you lose $2. Second hand, you win 5. Third hand, you lose 8. Math's getting complicated. You're getting more whiskey. These 2 things are connected. Martinez is winning.
Of course he is. He's barely drinking. Smart man. You should be smart like Martinez. You're not smart like Martinez. 2 hours later, you're down $20. The pile in front of you has vanished. You've got maybe $8 left. The game breaks up. You stumble back to the main room. The piano's still going. Different song, same terrible playing. The kid's at the bar, drunk, very drunk. He spent his $12 in the first hour, and now he's borrowing. Nobody's lending. He's singing something. Can't tell what. Nobody can tell what. You buy him a drink, because you're drunk and generous, and you've still got $8 left. Actually 6 now. Bought drinks for the kid and one of the saloon girls and yourself. Math's hard. Martinez finds you, suggests maybe heading back. Trail boss wants everyone ready to move cattle to the stockyard tomorrow morning. Tomorrow's far away. Tonight's right here. You buy another round. The night blurs. There's more drinking, maybe some singing, possibly a fight, not yours, someone else's, but you were nearby. The details are fuzzy. You wake up outside. Not in the street exactly, but close. Your head's pounding. Your ankles throbbing. Everything hurts. It's dawn. Maybe. Lights happening. You check your pockets. Empty. Completely empty. $43. Gone. Don't remember spending the last 6, but they're definitely gone. Martinez is sitting on the boardwalk nearby. He sees you're awake. You had a time, he says. Did I? Bought drinks for the whole saloon. Twice. That explains it. You sit up. The world spins. Your stomach objects. You swallow hard. Keep it down. Trail boss wants us at the stockyard in 2 hours. 2 hours. You can work with 2 hours. Barely. The kid's still inside, asleep under a table. Someone should probably check if he's alive. Someone who isn't you. You stand up. Everything protests. Ignore it. Find a water trough. Stick your head in. Doesn't help much, but it's something. Your horse is where you left him. Small miracle. You don't remember leaving him anywhere, but here he is, still saddled, looking at you with judgment. Don't start, you tell him. He doesn't start. He's tired too. Martinez has kept most of his money. Says he's saving for a horse of his own. Says that every drive. Never saves enough. But he's got $30 left, which is 30 more than you. The stockyard's busy. Buyers, sellers, cattle everywhere. Your herd gets sold. Trail boss handles it. You just help move them into the pens. The job's done. 3 months, 90 days, 1,000 miles. You started in Texas with $40 in promises. You're ending in Kansas with a hangover and empty pockets and a sprained ankle and clothes that barely qualify as clothing.
Trail boss is hiring for the next drive. Leaves in 2 weeks. $40 a month. Same deal, same deductions, same math that doesn't work. Martinez signs on. The kid signs on. You should walk away, find something else, anything else. You sign on. Because what else is there? The ride back to Texas is different from the ride up. No cattle, no rush. Just you and your horse and whatever you learned from 3 months of beans and bad decisions. Your horse is limping. Not bad, just favoring his front left. Probably a stone bruise. You're limping too. The ankle's better, but not healed. You make quite a pair. 2 broken down creatures heading south because north didn't work out like planned. Martinez is riding with you. He's quiet. Usually quiet, but this is a different quiet. Reflective, maybe. He's thinking about those 6 years of doing this. 6 years, and what's he got? Same bedroll, same dented spurs. Still doesn't own his own horse. You ever think about quitting, you ask him. He shrugs. Every day. Why don't you? And do what? Same question. Always the same question. What else is there for men like you? No education, no trade, no prospects beyond what you can do from a saddle. The kid didn't make it back. Not dead, just stayed in Abilene. Found work at the stockyard. Says he's done with trail driving. Smart kid. Smarter than you, anyway. You've got $12 in your pocket. Not 43. 12. Because before you left Abilene, you needed new boots. The old ones finally gave up completely. And you needed to replace some tack, and you needed to eat something before the 2-week ride back. $12 is what survived. The trail boss gave you a horse for the ride back. Old gelding, seen better years. He's not yours. You'll give him back when you reach San Antonio. But he's steady and he doesn't complain much, and that's more than you can ask. The landscape looks different heading south. Same grass, same sky, but different. Maybe you're different. 3 months ago, you signed on thinking you'd make your fortune, save up, start something. 3 months later, you've got $12 and knowledge you didn't want about beans and rain and how many ways a man can be miserable. You pass a place where you camped on the way up. Recognize the creek, the specific tree. There's still ash from your fire. 2 months ago, you sat there eating beans and thinking about Kansas. Now you're riding past it going the other way with nothing to show for the trip. A week into the ride back, you meet another drive heading north. 2,000 head, 8 riders, 1 cook. They look fresh, hopeful, the way you probably looked 3 months ago. Their trail boss asks how the trail is. Long, Martinez tells him. Abilene paying good? Good enough. The trail boss nods, rides on, his crew follows. You watch them go. Don't tell them about the rain or the stampede or the creative accounting. They'll learn. Everyone learns. You camp that night near a creek that's mostly dry. Make coffee over a small fire. The coffee tastes bad. You're using creek water that's barely water, but it's coffee. You drink it. Martinez is cleaning his saddle, oiling the leather, checking the stitching. Same saddle he's had for 6 years. He takes care of it like it's worth something. Maybe to him it is. You signing on again? You ask. Probably. Why? He doesn't answer right away, just keeps working the leather. Finally, same reason you are. You don't argue, can't argue. He's right. The stars come out, same stars as always. They don't care that you're broke and broken down and heading back to where you started. Stars don't care about anything. Your ankle's aching. The new boots aren't helping. They're stiff and rubbing blisters. Should have broken them in before riding. Should have done a lot of things. 10 days into the ride, you cross into Texas. Nothing marks the border, just more grass and sky. But it feels different. Feels like going backward. Martinez hasn't said much in 3 days. Just riding, thinking. Whatever he's thinking, he's keeping it to himself. San Antonio's close now, maybe 2 days. You can see it in your head, the plaza, the saloons, the office where you signed on. Trail boss will be there already, setting up for the next drive. $40 a month. Same promises, same math. You've got $12. Spent $1 this morning on beans. Actual beans, dry beans, because you didn't want to eat hardtack again. Cook them yourself over a fire. They tasted exactly like trail beans. You ate them anyway. $11 left. That'll last maybe a week in San Antonio if you're careful. Then you're broke, and the next drive is your only option. Last night before San Antonio, you camped near the same spot you left from. The creek's lower now. Summer's coming. Your bedroll's the same. Your saddle's worse. You're the same person you were 3 months ago, just poorer and more tired. Martinez is sharpening his knife. Doesn't need sharpening. He's just doing something with his hands. You think it gets better? You ask. What, this? Yeah. He tests the blade on his thumb, considers. No. Honest answer. You appreciate that. But you keep doing it, you say. Yeah. Why? He looks at you. 6 years of this in his eyes. You find out. You let me know. Morning comes. Last stretch to San Antonio. The city's visible on the horizon. Barely a city. More of a big town. But it's got saloons and a plaza and an office where a trail boss is waiting to hire men stupid enough to think next time will be different. You ride in, return the horse. The trail boss checks him over, nods, takes him back. You're on foot now. Just you and your bedroll and $11. Martinez is already at the office, signing papers, committing to another drive. Same deal, same terms. You should walk away, find something else, learn a trade, move to a city. Anything but this. You walk into the office. The trail boss looks up. Back already? Yes, sir. Want to sign on? You've got $11. That'll last until the next drive leaves. Barely. You've got no other prospects, no other skills, nothing but what you learned in 3 months of moving cattle. Yes, sir. He slides the paper across. You make your mark. Can't sign your name, but you can make your mark. That's legal enough. $40 a month. Minus deductions. Same promises. Martinez is waiting outside. Signed on? He asks. Yeah. Me too. You walk to the saloon, spend $2 of your $11 on whiskey, sit there drinking, not talking. What's there to say? The next drive leaves in a week. 7 days to spend $9, and then you're back in the saddle heading north with 2,000 cattle and the same bad coffee and the same beans. And you'll do it because this is what you know how to do. Because what else is there? Because maybe this time will be different, even though it won't be. Because you're a cowboy, and this is what cowboys do. You finish your whiskey. Martinez finishes his. Another drive, he says. Yeah. Maybe this one will be better. Maybe. You both know it won't be, but you'll go anyway. Because what else is there? The trail goes quiet now. The cattle are distant shapes in memory. The dust has settled, at least for tonight. You're still here, under your blankets, breathing steady and slow. The room's dark, the world's far away. Those cowboys are sleeping too, somewhere in the past, under stars that look just like yours. Different times, same tired bodies finding rest wherever they could. Their stories are done for now. Yours is still being written, but that can wait till morning. Everything can wait. The fan's humming its gentle rhythm. Your pillow's exactly right. The weight of the blanket's perfect. You're warm and safe and know where you need to be. Nothing you need to do. Just this moment, this breath, this quiet settling into sleep. Those cowboys would envy you this comfort. They'd trade a month's wages for your soft bed and your peaceful room. But they'd understand too. They knew the value of rest. knew that sometimes the best thing you can do is just stop. Just be still. Let your breathing slow. Let your thoughts drift like smoke from a campfire, rising and fading into the dark. The day's done, the work's done, you did enough. Tomorrow exists, but it's far away. Tonight there's just this. The gentle dark, the quiet room, the soft pull of sleep reaching up to take you somewhere peaceful. The trail goes on without you now. Let it go. Let everything go. There's nothing to hold on to anymore except this moment, and this moment's only job is to ease you softly into sleep. Rest now. You've earned it. Just like those cowboys did all those years ago, lying under stars and thinking about nothing at all. Just rest.